The real reason you keep meeting the same type of people. What if I told you that every toxic person who has entered your life wasn't a coincidence, but a perfectly orchestrated appointment by the universe? Think about it for a moment. That boss who humiliated you exactly like your father did. That partner who abandoned you in the same way as the previous one. That friend who betrayed you using the same words you heard years ago. Coincidences? No, my dear being. These are encrypted messages from your soul, screaming a lesson you still haven't learned. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal to you the truth that schools never teach and that most people take decades to discover. By the end of this journey, you'll not only understand why you keep attracting the same situations, but you'll have the exact tools to break these cycles forever. Because the truth is this, your external life is a perfect mirror of your internal world. And until you change what's inside, you'll keep watching the same movie over and over again. The sacred classroom of the soul. Have you ever stopped and really asked yourself, why does life keep sending me the same type of people? Different names, different faces, different scenarios, and yet, the feeling, the pattern, the challenge, it all feels so familiar. Maybe it's a friend who always takes more than they give, a partner who reflects the same insecurities, or a colleague who repeats an old conflict. My dear being, these are not coincidences. This isn't life being cruel, nor is it a matter of chance. This is the great classroom of your soul, and every person you meet is playing a role in your karmic play. Think of life as a vast stage, where the divine is the director, your soul is the student, and every character who enters is a teacher, some gentle, some fierce, but all necessary. The universal law of reflection teaches us that everything we experience externally is a reflection of our internal state. It's not that we consciously attract difficult people, but rather that our unhealed wounds, repressed fears, and limiting beliefs act as invisible magnets. These people are here to reflect the energies you still carry, the lessons you haven't yet mastered. You might not recognize them at first because their faces change, but the energy, the essence, remains the same until you've truly learned what they've come to teach you. We often repeat these encounters because we've responded the same way each time, with anger, avoidance, or fear. The karmic script won't change until you, the actor, choose a new line, a higher response. And when you do, the scene transforms. The Alla Sagrada del Alma. Imagine for a moment that life isn't just a collection of random events, but a perfectly written drama designed for your soul's growth. You're not here merely to survive or pass time. You're here to awaken, to remember who you truly are. And just like in a great theatrical work, every scene is carefully written, every character chosen with precision. The people in your life aren't accidental arrivals. They're assigned roles in the grand production of your karmic journey. Think of yourself as an actor who has been given a part to play. The setting may change. In one life, you might be born in one country, in another life somewhere completely different. But the internal lesson remains the same until it's completely learned. The school of reincarnation operates under very specific principles. The souls with whom you have karmic contracts will return again and again in different relationships and circumstances until both parties have completed their mutual learning. The souls you know may come as family, friends, strangers, or even as those who test your patience and love. However, beneath the surface, they're all helping you complete a chapter in your soul's education. Why do they appear in different forms? Because the soul learns through variety. If the same person returned to you each time, the lesson might become obvious too quickly. But when it arrives through different faces and voices, the heart is challenged to recognize the pattern without prejudice. The karmic scenario is vast, and the divine director places each actor perfectly, sometimes to elevate you, sometimes to challenge you, always to help you rise higher. The three types of soul contracts we must understand are support contracts, souls who come to love you, support you, and remind you of your light. Challenge contracts, souls who come to activate your wounds so you can heal them. Service contracts, souls with whom you exchange lessons mutually. The divine mirror of relationships. My dear being, Every person you meet is a mirror, sometimes clear, sometimes fogged, but always reflecting something of your own internal state. This is one of the deepest truths on the spiritual path. The outer world is shaped by the inner world. When you encounter kindness, it's because seeds of kindness have been planted in your own heart. When you encounter criticism or deception, it's often life showing you a place within that still needs healing, strength, or clarity. The law of vibrational resonance explains why certain types of personalities seem to find you again and again. Like frequencies attract similar frequencies. If you carry a wound, you'll attract those who press on it, not to hurt you, but to show you where it exists so you can finally heal it. These mirrors aren't here to flatter or condemn you. They're here to make you aware. Sometimes they reveal your light, the compassion, patience, and generosity you've cultivated over lifetimes. Other times they reveal your shadows, hidden fears, pride, or attachments you might not want to see. But both are gifts. Without a mirror, how would you know what's on your face? Without people, how would you know what's in your soul? The 5 primordial wounds most commonly reflected in our relationships are: abandonment, attracts people who pull away or aren't emotionally available. Rejection, magnetizes situations where you feel not accepted or valued. Humiliation, brings experiences where your dignity is questioned. Betrayal, attracts people you trust but who break that trust. Injustice, generates situations where you feel you're not treated fairly. It's easy to resist these reflections, to say, they are the problem. But when you embrace the mirror as teacher, you reclaim your power. You no longer wait for others to change. You change the vibration within yourself. And when that internal change happens, the external reflection must also transform. Understanding karmic loops. My dear being, a karmic loop is like a circle you keep walking without realizing you've been here before. It's the repetition of a pattern. Meeting the same type of person, facing the same type of challenge, feeling the same emotions over and over again. This happens because something within you remains unfinished, unresolved. A thought, an action, a choice, perhaps from this very life, perhaps from many lives ago, still resonates in your soul, seeking balance. Karma isn't punishment, it's the law of harmony. Every action, every intention, every vibration you send to the universe must eventually return to you, not to hurt you, but to complete the cycle. If you once caused pain, that pain returns, not as revenge, but as an invitation to understand, empathize, and act with greater love. If you once closed your heart out of fear, life will bring you situations that ask you to open it again. The 7 levels of karmic learning your soul must traverse are: 1. Denial. This isn't really happening. 2. Victimization. Why is this happening to me? 3. External blame. It's their fault. 4. Recognition. I see the pattern. 5. Responsibility. I have a role in this. 6. Transformation. I choose to respond differently. 7. Mastery. I bless this experience and this master soul. The loop continues because the lesson still hasn't been learned. Often we respond in the same old way. Anger for anger, withdrawal for hurt, pride for insult. Each time we react without awareness, we reinforce the circle, making the loop stronger. But here's the great truth. The moment you recognize the pattern and respond differently, with compassion instead of resentment, with patience instead of frustration, you break the circle. The energy changes. The karmic knot begins to loosen. The spiritual science of pattern changing. Until then, life will send you the same essence in different forms. Different people, places, and circumstances, all carrying the same vibration, whispering, will you choose a higher path this time? When you finally say yes with your actions, not just your words, the loop dissolves, and your soul is free to walk a new and higher path. Neuroscientists have discovered that our brains are programmed to seek familiar patterns, even when they're dysfunctional. This is because the familiar feels safe to our nervous system, even when it's painful. Breaking these patterns requires conscious effort to rewire our neural circuits. My dear being, the moment you recognize you're inside a karmic loop, you have the key to freedom. Awareness is the first step, but conscious action is what truly opens the door. To break a pattern, you must stop walking in the circle and choose a new direction, one that's guided by wisdom, not by habit. The 8 steps for karmic liberation. 1. Observe without judgment. When you notice a familiar type of person or situation appearing, don't rush to the old reaction. 2. Ask yourself with love, what must I learn here? 3. Breathe consciously. Before reacting, take 3 deep breaths. 4. Identify your pattern. What has been your habitual response? 5. Choose the opposite response. If you've responded with anger, try calmness. 6. Act from love. Even if you don't feel it, choose the loving action. 7. Observe without attachment. Watch how the dynamic changes without expectations. 8. Thank the lesson, bless both the experience and the person. Begin by observing without judgment. This single question can change your energy from being a victim of circumstances to being a student of life. The pattern will only dissolve when your response changes. If your habit has been anger, try calmness. If it's been withdrawal, try honest and gentle communication. If it's been resentment, choose forgiveness, not because the other person deserves it, but because your soul deserves peace. Even a small act of elevated response can weaken the karmic thread that binds you. Ancestral wounds and inherited patterns. Many of the patterns we repeat didn't begin in this life. Ancestral wounds are transmitted from generation to generation through the family morphogenetic field. Your great-grandmother who could never trust love, your grandfather who learned the world was dangerous, your parents who carried unhealed traumas. All these energies are stored in your spiritual DNA. Transgenerational patterns include emotional poverty, the inability to receive or give deep love, war traumas, hypervigilance and generalized mistrust, abandonment, the deep terror of being left alone, betrayal, the impossibility of fully trusting others, shame, the feeling of not being worthy of love or success. These wounds create invisible magnetic fields that attract exactly the situations that will activate them. It's the universe's perfect mechanism for us to finally heal them, not just for ourselves, but for our entire ancestral line. When you heal a pattern in yourself, you heal it backward in your family line and forward for future generations. This is what spiritual masters call transgenerational healing. Soul contracts and sacred agreements. Remember, breaking the pattern doesn't mean avoiding people or closing your heart. It means facing the lesson with a new vibration. Life will often test you again to see if the change is real. When the same energy arrives and you respond with love, clarity, or detachment instead of the old reaction, the universe takes note. The lesson has been learned. The 5 main types of soul contracts we bring to this life are healing contracts, souls who come specifically to help you heal deep wounds. Karma contracts, souls with whom you have energetic debts from the past. Growth contracts, souls who challenge you to expand your consciousness. Service contracts, souls with whom you collaborate on spiritual missions. Love contracts, soul mates and twin flames who accompany you through multiple lives. Before being born, in the spiritual planes, souls gather in what's known as the Soul Council. Here they plan the main lessons they need to learn in the next incarnation and choose which other souls will help them in this process. Some souls agree to support you, bringing joy, comfort, and encouragement. Others agree to challenge you, activating wounds or fears you've carried for lifetimes, so you can finally heal them. From the outside, this might look like betrayal, conflict, or rejection. But from the soul's perspective, it's a sacred gift, an opportunity to rise above your lower nature and awaken your higher being. The alchemy of conscious transformation. Sometimes the change is instantaneous and the person naturally leaves your life. Other times, the situation transforms before your eyes because your internal energy has changed. This is the beauty of spiritual growth. You don't need to wait for others to act differently. Your own transformation reshapes the entire scene. The process of emotional alchemy has 5 fundamental stages. Nigredo, the death recognizing that the current pattern doesn't work. Albedo, the purification cleansing toxic emotions and beliefs. Citronitas, the awakening developing new awareness and perspective. Rubido, the integration incorporating wisdom into conscious actions. Aurum, the gold living from the transformed state naturally. Real transformation requires that you move through each of these stages without skipping any. Many people try to go directly to forgiveness, Aurum, without having done the work of recognition, Nigredo, or purification, Albedo. And that's why the pattern returns. Tools for conscious transformation include observation meditation, seeing your reactions without identifying with them, shadow work, embracing the parts of you that you've rejected, nonviolent communication, expressing your needs without attacking, quantum forgiveness, forgiving not just the action, but the wound that generated it, energetic reprogramming, changing your fundamental vibration. This way, you exit the loop and enter the light of a higher destiny. The disguised masters. My dear being, when you begin to see people not as obstacles, but as companions on your soul's journey, everything changes. Even those who cause you pain, even those who challenge you, are not your enemies. They are teachers wearing the disguise of difficulty. They have agreed, at the soul level, to play a role that will help you grow in strength, wisdom, and love. Before being born, the soul often makes agreements. Some souls agree to support us, bringing joy, comfort, and encouragement. Others agree to challenge us, activating wounds or fears we've carried for lifetimes, so we can finally heal them. The archetypes of spiritual masters we encounter include the mirror, shows you exactly what you need to see about yourself. The catalyst, accelerates your spiritual growth through conflict. The healer, helps you close deep emotional wounds. The guardian, protects you until you're ready for the next phase. The destroyer, eliminates what no longer serves you, even if it's painful. From the outside, this might look like betrayal, conflict, or rejection. But from the soul's view, it's a sacred gift, an opportunity to rise above your lower nature and awaken your higher being. When you label someone as toxic or bad, you close the door to the lesson they carry. But when you look at them and silently say, "You are my teacher in this moment," your heart softens. You stop taking their actions personally and begin to ask, "What must I learn from this interaction?" This shift transforms resentment into gratitude. Some teachers will stay for years, others will appear only for a moment, delivering their lesson before moving on. Either way, they are part of the divine choreography of your life. The inner revolution, when you can bless even those who hurt you, without needing to keep them close, you free yourself from the chains of bitterness. Seeing people as soul companions isn't weakness. It's the highest strength. It means you understand that every encounter, pleasant or painful, is here for your soul's elevation. The inner revolution begins when you stop blaming the outer world for your inner experience. This is the most powerful moment in any human being's spiritual journey. When you realize you have absolute power to change your reality by changing your internal vibration. The 7 pillars of the inner revolution are: 1. Radical responsibility, completely accepting your role in every experience. 2. Unconditional forgiveness, releasing all resentment without excuses. 3. Unshakable self-love, honoring your worth without depending on external validation. 4. Universal compassion, seeing the shared humanity in every being. 5. Conscious detachment, releasing the need to control outcomes. 6. Full presence, living completely in the current moment. 7. Selfless service, using your transformation to elevate others. And when you live from this consciousness, the world becomes not a battlefield, but a sacred classroom of the heart. The art of conscious response. My dear being, every karmic encounter you face can keep you bound or free you. It all depends on how you choose to respond. The moment you begin to see every encounter as an opportunity for internal growth, the very energy of your life changes. Even the most challenging relationships become stepping stones on the path to your higher self. When you meet someone whose presence feels strangely familiar, pause before reacting. The practice of sacred response involves 3 key moments. Moment 1, the recognition. Internally say, "Beloved Divine, thank you for showing me myself through this soul. Help me respond with love, wisdom, and clarity." Moment 2, the elevation. This simple prayer converts the situation into transformation. Instead of being dragged into the same emotional storms, you begin to rise above them, like a bird flying over the clouds. Moment 3, the integration. Transformation happens when you consciously choose the higher path, not out of fear or pride, but from a genuine desire to grow. The 7 master responses that dissolve karmic patterns are: 1. The conscious pause, waiting before reacting automatically. 2. The sacred question, what is this experience teaching me? 3. The transforming breath, using breath to change your energetic state. 4. The soul vision, seeing the person as a spiritual teacher. 5. The choice of love, choosing the most loving response possible. 6. Quantum gratitude, being grateful for the growth opportunity. 7. Blessed detachment, releasing the need for the other to change. You might forgive where you once held grudges, speak your truth where you once remained silent, or withdraw in peace instead of participating in conflict. Each of these choices sends a powerful message to the universe. I have learned the lesson, the quantum physics of vibrational change. Quantum science has revealed to us that everything in the universe is made of vibrational energy. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs emit specific frequencies that act like cosmic radio signals. These signals attract experiences and people who vibrate at the same frequency. When you change your internal vibration through conscious spiritual work, you automatically begin to attract different types of people and experiences. This isn't magical thinking. It's quantum physics applied to personal transformation. Over time, you'll notice that the same type of person no longer appears, or if they do, their presence no longer disturbs your peace. This is because you've changed the vibration within yourself. The outer world must reflect that inner change. It's a divine law. The 5 levels of human vibration according to the consciousness scale are: survival vibration 0 to 200 Hz, fear, anger, guilt, shame. Transition vibration 200 to 350 Hz, courage, neutrality, willingness. Heart vibration 350 to 500 Hz, acceptance, love, joy. Wisdom vibration 500 to 700 Hz, understanding, serenity, ecstasy. Illumination vibration 700 plus Hz, peace, unity, pure consciousness. By converting karmic encounters into moments of spiritual practice, you move from being a passive actor in life's play to being a conscious co-creator with the divine. And when you live this way, every encounter becomes a blessing, every soul a messenger, and every step a movement toward your liberation. The living laboratory of consciousness. Life becomes a living laboratory where every interaction is an experiment in consciousness. Each time you choose to respond from a higher place, you're literally rewriting your karmic code and creating new possibilities for your future. The 3 levels of relational mastery are: reactive mastery, learning not to react automatically; creative mastery, consciously choosing how to respond; transcendent mastery, seeing all interaction as sacred. At the level of transcendent mastery, there are no longer difficult people in your life, only opportunities to practice unconditional love. This doesn't mean you allow yourself to be abused, but rather that you respond from a place of centered power instead of emotional reaction. Spiritual graduation. My dear being, as we come to the close of this journey together, remember this truth. Life isn't against you, and the people who enter your story aren't accidents. Each one is carrying a message, a reflection, a lesson meant for your soul's highest growth. Some will bring you joy, others will test your patience, and a few may awaken deep emotions you thought you had buried. But all are instruments in the grand orchestra of the divine, playing the notes that will help you remember your true self. When you begin to see life this way, the heart shifts from asking, "Why me?" to "What is life teaching me?" And in that shift, you reclaim your power. You're no longer a victim of repetitive patterns. You become the conscious director of your own destiny. The signs of spiritual graduation include constant inner peace, maintaining calm regardless of external circumstances, automatic compassion. Your first response is understanding, not judgment. Wise detachment. You can love without needing to possess or control. Natural gratitude. You see every experience as a gift, even the difficult ones. Spontaneous service. Your happiness comes from elevating others. Every higher choice you make, every moment you choose love over resentment, wisdom over reaction, dissolves the old karmic threads and opens the path for new and elevating connections to enter your life. The moment of total liberation comes when you can look at any person who has caused you pain and genuinely say, "Thank you for being my teacher. Thank you for loving me enough to help me grow. I bless you on your path." When you can do this from the heart, without forcing it, you'll know you've broken the karmic chain forever. Now I invite you to take this message deeper. In the comments, share with me, what type of people keep appearing in your life, and what lesson do you think they carry for you? Your story might be exactly the insight someone else needs today. And tell me also, what topic should we explore together in our next video? The question from your heart could be the seed for our next wisdom journey. If this message has touched you, I encourage you to like this video, share it with someone who might need this reminder, and subscribe so we can continue walking this path together. Your soul is ready for the next lesson. The question is, are you prepared to receive it? Until we meet again, keep your heart open, your mind clear, and your soul elevated. Jai Gurudev. Remember, you're not here to be perfect. You're here to be real, to grow, and to remember that you are an infinite being having a temporary human experience. Every pattern you break is a victory not just for you, but for all human consciousness.